Mr. Jacob Rees-Mogg.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My right honourable learned friend has been enormously gracious in being willing to answer any question the House may have on legal matters. And there are many questions that we all have to ask that may not be easy to put in one short question. But unfortunately, he does not answer the basic point about denying a motion passed by this House, saying that it in his view that is not in the national interest is not good enough. When the government loses a vote, it must follow the will of this House under an humble address according to all precedent. It is no longer a matter for the government to judge. It has been decided by this House, which is a higher authority. I would therefore urge him, in spite of his generosity in answering questions, to go back and release the advice asked for by this House.
Well, of course, a request from the quarter from which it has just come, I will always want to re-examine the assumptions I've made. But I have to say to Mr. Speaker, to my honourable friend, the problem here is that it cannot be right that the House, by means of such a motion, has the power blind to call for any matter which has been discussed in connection with the government of this country. Where does it end? Just wait a minute. I'm trying to do my best. So where does the limits of this power end? Does it extend to cabinet minutes? Does it extend to the papers of the Secret Intelligence Service? Is the House, by means of this motion, to command any paper of any kind central to the interests of this nation without even being able to check that by its release they are causing or might cause severe damage to the public interest? I invite the honourable member to consider the implications of the absolute rule that he is talking of. It cannot be right. And if one looks at previous versions, if one looks at previous Erskine Mays, one sees that the motion to return is confined to documents of public and official character. And if there are good reasons of public policy why those papers should not be disclosed, then the House will either withdraw or rescind its motion. Now, in this case, I am convinced that in order to disclose any advice that might have been given would be fundamentally contrary to the interests of this country. It's no use the baying and shouting of members opposite. What I am trying to do is guard the public interest. That's all. And it's time, and it is time they grew up and got real. If there were a single item which I thought might be politically embarrassing, I would have no truck with the idea that this advice or any that I might have been given should be disclosed. It is because the public interest is at stake. What part of that proposition is the other side incapable of understanding?